All right, how you doing? My name is Lee Boy, and welcome to the Vidcast podcast for Cpw. I haven't done one of these things in a while, so I appreciate you guys for clicking this video and checking me out right here on Lee Boy TV. Once again, my name is Lee Boy, and you're checking out the Vidcast podcast for Cpw, Critical Pro Wrestling. Now let's get right into it. If you haven't seen it already, go check out episode 11. Stop this video right here because there will be some spoilers I will be getting into commentating on this video. Also, again, if you want to support this channel, hit the like button, leave a comment in the comment section below, whatever it is, good or bad. I love feedback. I read all comments and I try my best to answer back everybody. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to check out the latest and greatest here on CPW at Lee Boy TV. But let's get into episode 11. Spoiler alert ahead if you haven't seen it already. Well, I made my return back to CPW and my channel with episode 11. Here on the podcast, I like to go over certain things and pull back the curtain of my universe to let you guys in on the secrets, behind the scene things, and answer questions that you may have about the CPW universe. Hey, if you even have WWE questions, leave that in the comment section. I'll try to get back to that as well. But for episode 11, coming back again, my universes ran AI versus AI. We had Roxanne and her undefeated streak on the line, and the title, the CPW Women's Rose Championship, against none other than Victoria Ortiz, who at episode 10 had a battle royal, came down to her and Sharon Velez, and surprisingly to me as well, she threw her over the top rope. And then in this episode, coming back, she was hungry. I gotta say this, Victoria Ortiz in that match, if you go watch it again, she was more hungry in that match than Roxanne was. I kind of felt watching it that the title was slipping out of her hands. I was like, this is going to be an upset victory. Not a lot of people are going to be too happy about this if she pulls this off. And yeah, that's what happened. Victoria Ortiz came up with an upset victory that took the title away from the undefeated Roxanne. Wow. I mean, Roxanne's been undefeated since CPW started. If you guys go back and all been riding with me since episode 1. She's been through 2 pay-per-views, man, and it was a shocker. It was definitely a shocker. Even in the live chat, I was trying not to talk too much because I seen the comments, and I was just like, I'm gonna just let this slide. I'm gonna let this ride right here because, man, that really was one of the shockers of the night. But not only the only shocker of the night. As we move on to Hiro Tanaka, who took on Sebastian Niles for the #1 contendership for the CPW United States Championship, which is now held by none other than the ghost of CPW, the Nightmare. Okay, that man right there is a problem. As you all know, previously in the last pay-per-view, which was Adrenaline, the Nightmare had won the US title in a tournament for the new belt. Okay, so he is the guy holding that down, and Hiro Tanaka was able to knock off Sebastian Niles and pull off that victory to now to be the #1 contender to face the Nightmare, who wasn't too happy about that, showed up chokeslamming Hiro Tanaka. What do you guys think? Leave in the comment section below. Who do you have to win at the pay-per-view between Hiro Tanaka and the Nightmare? Hiro Tanaka, known as the Japanese Cyborg, is a calculated tactician on the mat versus the unorthodox style of the Nightmare. Moving on, Chris Gates took on The Wave and a loser drops in rankings match. Now, I will go over the structure of rankings in CPW because that's something I haven't said within the game to really give you guys an overview of how I do the rankings, how characters are put in certain places. But let's go into that a little bit before I talk about Chris Gates. In my universe, if you make it up to the heavyweight championship, I feel that you should have the most to lose. So a lot of former heavyweight champions, if they haven't retained the belt for a long time, there is no rematch for them. If you held the belt for a pretty substantial time, you are allowed a rematch. Hence the reason why Roxanne can go for a rematch against Victoria Ortiz for that title. At the top, you have to really earn your keep. Like, you really have to fight to keep that title, because the only other spot for you is down. So you're going to start all over again. It means you're going to go right down to the bottom of the card and fight your way back up to the heavyweight title scene. So this meant a lot. That's the reason why this match right here means so much. Chris Gates had to win this match, or the Wave had to win this match to keep their spot and their place within the rankings, or suffer dropping to the bottom. Now, mind you, the Wave was already at the bottom coming up, and he just got sent right back down. And it's amazing because this was another upset victory that fans were looking at like, yo, the Wave got robbed. How did Chris Gates? This guy hasn't won. Everything that the Blackwells tried to do to get him in a position of becoming something, he hasn't done well at. United States title, that's a no-go. A lot of other opportunities that came his way, no-goes. He's been C- from off the top of a ladder with Aaron Awesome, no-go. So he seems like he's rejuvenated himself, and he might be on a tear. We'll see if that happens, but knocking off the Wave probably put a battery in Chris Gates' back, definitely, to continue to move on, and we'll see what that develops from there. Chris Gates, along with Jarrett Blackwell, segueing into my next thing, the Varsity Squad. Chris Gates and Jarrett Blackwell still have beef with the Varsity Squad. If you don't know who the Varsity Squad is, it consists of the Mega Bucks, Rakamzi, and Aaron Awesome, along with CJ Blackwell, the son of Jarrett Blackwell. They are known as the Varsity Squad. They are the ones trying to rip havoc across the CPW universe, taking over the company as best as they can. So Jarrett Blackwell, in the latest episode, in episode 11, tried to keep the Mega Bucks out of the arena. Jarrett Blackwell's idea was to keep the Mega Bucks from making it to the ring, or even into the building rather, so that way they get booked for a match tonight, and if they don't make it to the ring, that would be grounds for him to terminate their contract, because he's trying to find a way to dismantle the Varsity Squad within legal parameters. And by them not showing up to have their match would have been grounds for termination, which have been breach of contract. But of course, they make it to the ring and they take on Team Havoc in a steel cage match. And man, the computer really must love the Mega Bucks, because they are the undefeated tag team champions. They haven't yet to be knocked off for those belts. Okay, so yeah, that's what's up with the Mega Bucks right now. And Jarrett Blackwell was not too thrilled about the outcome of that match, because it blew up in his face. It backfired, and Varsity Squad continues to roll on. Now we're going to get into the behind the scenes things. I got your questions loaded up right here. So we're going to get into some questions. I'm going to get to that red book. I know I mentioned and teased the red book in my community tab, but we're going to get to that in another episode. But right now, let's get into your questions. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section for this video, or when I post on the community tab for the opening of questions, I take them there as well. So I'll be looking at this video and I'll be looking at that, because my podcast is open to all of that. If you just want to say something and leave a comment and say, hey, what's up, I take that as well. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you that subscribe to my channel, leave in a comment, I comment back. All of this feedback, everything that you guys have done for me in support, I can't thank you enough, because you guys motivate me to continue to make these videos in a time where there's not really much motivation to continue, except when I read your comments and you say how well I'm doing or how good this is. And I can't thank you enough. Words can't even describe how I feel about when I read those comments. I'm even rambling right now, but let's move on into the questions. First up, Phantom 1 X Gaming has a couple of questions, so I'm gonna go over his questions first, bundle those up. His question is, have you ever thought of entering yourself in the CPW universe? And his second question is, who is your dark horse and who is your golden boy of CPW for the male division? All right, let's answer the first question. Have I ever thought about entering myself in the universe? I am in the universe. I am the voice of CPW. I am Lee Boy. I'm the narrator. The guy that's giving you the play-by-play on the mic. But as a wrestler, if that's what you're implying that, I kind of gave you a hint when I said awesome question, because in the CPW universe, the person I live through vicariously as a wrestler is Aaron Awesome. That is my character I've been rolling with for a very long time, who used to be called Bones back when I first started playing the N64 games and you were allowed to make a wrestler. And my friend made up his character known today as Chaos, who you guys see in CPW. That's my best friend's character. And we've been going back and forth playing wrestling games and having matches with each other since the N64 days. So Bones was the character being made, and I think in SmackDown versus Raw 2011 or SmackDown, 2K13 is when I changed his name from Bones to Aaron Awesome, because I've been working on that character for a long time in the transition that he made from this kind of wrestler to this kind of wrestler, and it just stuck. One day I came up with the whole idea of that he's been around for so long. He's the franchise player, he is the teacher, and everything was centered around him being this arrogant, I think I'm better than everybody wrestler who, I had to fight tooth and nail to get where I'm at kind of guy. So he puts himself at a high regard when it comes to who he is as a wrestler. All right, Phantom Soul, to answer who is your dark horse and who is your golden boy, I would say the dark horse is Damian McIntyre. The guy has been phenomenal. He's shown many glimpses of greatness on and off screen that you guys may not know about. But yeah, he definitely, I would say, is the dark horse. He's the person who I would say is going to shock a lot of people when he starts to get on a winning streak, because that Superman punch and that damn phenomenal forearm he comes with off that rope, that puts people away. The Superman punch comes from out of nowhere. It could be done on anybody. It could come at any time. I've yet to see anyone counter it in the game. Aaron Awesome's A+, I see gets countered a lot. But that Superman punch, I've yet to see anybody stop that move. Damian McIntyre, definitely the dark horse of CPW. The golden boy, I'm going to have to give you two answers on that, Phantom. Two answers for that, because there's my biased opinion, which you probably already know the answer to, and then there's the creative side. The creative side, the guy that's looking at everything as a whole. So here we go. As far as the golden boy on the personal side, I would say it's Aaron Awesome, of course. And then there's the creative side from what I see with you guys and the whole of the CPW universe, the fans and people. It would have to be the Nightmare, which I'm happy about. Again, another one of my creations. The Nightmare is definitely someone I see everybody liking, and he is someone who I honestly feel, there was a comment someone said, I believe it was Tucker, who told me he's definitely going to be a future world champion. I have no doubts that he will. I'm definitely thinking that he will one day be the world champion. He's by far probably the most popular character in CPW, if he's not already. There's a lot of people that love that character. But yeah, that would be the answer to those questions. Next question from Terry Burnett. Who is your favorite character? That's question one. And how many did you create yourself? Okay, so with that being said, my favorite character is Aaron Awesome. Again, he's the first ever person signed to CPW. He's the first wrestler ever created for CPW, and he is the character that I've been gradually improving since what was it? WrestleMania 2000 for the N64? Yeah. So my favorite character is, yes, Aaron Awesome. How many did you create yourself? Here's the answer to that. How many did I create myself? A lot of my characters I'd already made for the console, which is for the Xbox. That's where I come from the Xbox. It started in WWE 2K18. I made these characters, and then I got the same exact game, 2K18, on my PC. It was on sale. So when I got it, boom, I was like, you know what? I had to make all of these characters over again. So what I did was I said, well, I don't want to start from scratch. Let me go to the community creations, and is there any characters that are similar to the characters I already made? So when I found these characters, mind you, I would have to be doing double the work. I would literally have to do double the work. I have to now remake everybody all over again from scratch, and that would be a pain in the half. So what I did was I found characters who were very similar to the characters I made. I download them and I just tweaked them back to the way they originally looked at when I had on the Xbox. So you can say that, yes, the characters that I made are my creations, but I did download from the creations community and just overlaid my characters over existing characters, so that way I don't have to start completely from scratch, because doing all of that would have took a hell of a long time. We talking face scans, we talking all kinds of stuff. That is very time consuming. But yes, every character, I tried to get them as closely as I had them originally on my Xbox when I transferred over to the PC version. All the character concepts are all mine. Now the characters I made from top to bottom, from scratch, from absolutely nothing, after I done had everything settled, were the Pit Bulls. They're completely from scratch. Aaron Awesome was the first character ever created. He's from scratch because I couldn't find nobody that I can overlay him over, so everything I had to redo with him, even down to the chest tattoos and the arm tattoos. Had to refine that arm tattoo, but he was from scratch. Ramsey is from scratch. Johnny B. Easy's from scratch. Chris Gates, I believe, is from totally and completely from scratch. The Nightmares from scratch. Who else is from scratch? El Flippo. And then I got a couple of guys that are coming that you haven't seen yet. They're completely from scratch. And I got some females who I made who are completely from scratch. But everybody else, I did download from community creations and just overlaid my idea on top of those characters. I changed the movesets and all the things, of course, to get them as close as possible to how they were on my console. So I don't know if that's a complete answer for you, whether you want to say, yes, they're all originally mine, or, hey, he took the community creation and just threw his stuff on top of it. But at the end of the day, everything that you see, all the concept and stuff, are my ideas. That's also a neat trick for you guys who don't want to constantly have to keep making the same wrestler over and over and over and over. Try to find on community creation a wrestler that's very similar to yours, download them, and then you hook them up from there. Because everything else is done for you. The weight, the size, how they look, they're very similar. Because a lot of wrestlers kind of look the same in certain aspects and ways, and you change it from there. Now, if you want to do everything from top to bottom, I'm not knocking that. That's even, if you have the time to do that, that's awesome. I didn't, you know what I mean? Because I did not want to sit there and start from scratch with every single character. That becomes a pain and a half. I'd rather download it, overlay it, and hook it up to the best of my ability to get it to the idea that I have in my head, or the idea that I have. Now we're going to move on to the next question that comes from Asvaldo, who says, seeing as the matches are all simulated, you don't play them, and it's AI versus AI, has the outcome of a match ever gotten in the way of any ideas or storylines you might have had in mind? Yes. This is a very good question. I love this question because it has. In the past, the outcome would dictate where I would have to take the storyline. which is not too bad. I would just have to just tweak it a little bit to fit the storyline, because even if a person wins or lose, I can always tell a story about that. I can always continue the rivalry. I can always edit and splice how I want the rivalry to continue. For example, if I wanted the Wave to, let's say I wanted the Wave to beat Chris Gates and Chris Gates won, I can make another storyline where the Wave argues the fact that it was a fluke, this, that, and the third, and then probably get a rematch out of that. So now I got another episode or another fight for another day. You know, you just gotta adjust on the fly when it comes to AI versus AI. That's a tip for you guys out there to pull back the curtain once again. I recently abandoned that idea of doing it that way, adjusting on the fly, to this idea. In most wrestling events, because I looked at it after sitting back, not doing CPW for a while, it still pondered on my mind about it. A long time I've been sitting on it like, will I come back? Won't I come back? But here it is. Pro tip for you guys. Everything should be done in advance. Do not do an episode. If you're getting into this call created stuff, do not do anything on the play-by-play, episode by episode. You have to do everything in advance. I'm not saying you have to. It's just my idea of it. Let me give you an example, guys. So, I actually started at the pay-per-view and I worked my way back. I worked my way backwards, meaning that I did the pay-per-view. I know who I want in the storylines. I know who the matchups are for the pay-per-view. So then once the pay-per-view happens, there's an outcome. So from that outcome, I can go all the way backwards to episode 11, right? And then whatever the storyline is or whatever the outcome of the matches are, I already know who's going to win definitively. I already know who's going to win definitively at the end of the day because of the pay-per-view. So from the pay-per-view, it's going to give me the outline to work backwards on the storyline. Meaning that anything can happen from episode 11 to the pay-per-view, but guess what? I already did the pay-per-view. It's been done. It's in the books. It's already canned. So I know how the end of the storyline goes, so I don't have to adjust anything on the fly because it's already been dictated from the pay-per-view. Because the pay-per-view sometimes ends a feud, it begins the feud. So from there, I can adjust and move. So my pro tip to you guys is don't work forward, work from the end and work backwards. So that way, if any results from the past changes, it does not change your future because that's already said and done. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the CPW podcast vidcast. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, whether it be about CPW, AEW, WWE, NXT, whatever. I talk about wrestling here, but mostly about my channel. And I thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the questions. Again, if you got anything, we're going to be talking about that red book. The next episode will feature the infamous red book that I posted on my community tab about what's inside of that. Because I told you guys, you got to get organized. And in that red book is basically the lifeblood of CPW. Again, if you guys want to know anything more about CPW, for me to pull back the curtain a little bit more, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a question. These things are so interactive. I love chatting with you guys. I love reading your comments. So again, if you like this, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, because this is going to thrive basically off of your questions and then me giving you feedback on the behind the scenes look of CPW. I have nothing to hide to you guys. Just make sure that you leave a question. It's as simple as that when it comes down to CPW. Again, I'm throwing it out there to you guys. The question of the day for this video is, who do you think is the golden boy of CPW? And who do you think is the dark horse of CPW? This question, again, was answered by me, given to me by Phantom 1X Gaming, and I'm throwing it back out to you guys. You tell me in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget, special announcement. Where am I going with this? This Thursdays will now be the new day for me to premiere CPW episodes. I will not be doing it on Wednesday because there's a lot of wrestling on Wednesdays. So I feel like, hey, Thursday is a prime spot for me. Same time, 7 p.m. It's going to be going down episode 12 this Thursday. Don't miss out. If you haven't seen episode 11, go and check that out. My name is Lee Boy. You've been checking out the CPW podcast vidcast, and I will catch you on the next one.
It's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah. Able, oh yeah. I'm stable, oh yeah. No label, oh yeah. You know me, I have only a path. I'm lonely, but